Yesterday, Trump announced a 90-day pause on all the tariffs except for China, and this was having a very bullish effect on the market, just as we can see here. So this was a very interesting news article that was coming in, and we saw a $5.5 trillion added to the US stock market in one single day, and it was the second best trading day of the S&P and the Nasdaq in history ever. On the charts we now can see some very interesting patterns unfolding, which I'm going to discuss with you in this video. I will also have a look at the Bitcoin and the ETF flows, and of course a lot of other interesting news that is hitting the markets. Later in the video I will also have a look at the two altcoins, Chainlink and of course Ethereum. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end to don't miss anything. So please like the video because it will help my channel a lot. And with that being said, now let's dive right into the charts. So yesterday President Trump announced a 90-day pause on the tariffs all around the world except for China. And we saw a huge spike to the top side, as we can see here, and we almost closed the CME gap around the $84,000 and $132. So this is exactly what I've been talking about. Eventually Bitcoin will close the CME gap around the $84,000. So we didn't close the gap yet, but I think we will maybe close it in the rest of the day because currently we are at the $81,500. So we also see a very interesting pattern unfolding, which is a very bullish bias pattern, but I will discuss that later in the video. So for now, the CME gap is still open, and I think we will close it maybe this week already, but eventually we will close it. Bitcoin will close this gap maybe this week or maybe next week. And zooming out to the 4-hour time frame, we can see a very beautiful W pattern is unfolding. We can see this double bottom is unfolding, and this double bottom is a very bullish bias pattern because a double bottom indicates a bottom, and because a W pattern indicates a bottom, and we are seeing this beautiful trend reversal because we are seeing a low, a high, a low, and now Bitcoin is creating a higher high. So this could mean that we're shifting from a downtrend into an uptrend, which is very bullish to see, of course. So let's see if we can continue the bullish uptrend, and that, for instance, we can also create a higher low and also a new higher high, and that of course will reverse the trend from Bitcoin from this downtrend into a new uptrend, and that is exactly what we want to see, and that is exactly what the headline about the 90-day pause for the Trump tariffs was indicating for us. So this could be the bottom for Bitcoin, and let me know in the comments, do you think the bottom for Bitcoin is in, or do you think that Bitcoin will see lower prices below $74,000? And let's then have a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow. We can see that yesterday was another bearish day. We can see $27.2 million of outflows. And this was especially because BlackRock and Grayscale were selling a lot of Bitcoin yesterday. So this was having a little bit of a bearish effect on the market. So let's see what they will do today. I think we will see massive inflows because of the 90-day pause of the Trump tariffs. So I think today we will see huge numbers for inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. And zooming out to the daily time frame, we can see this huge formation is unfolding, and as yesterday I also discussed this formation in my video. On the top side we can see multiple touch points as resistance, and on the lower side we can see multiple touch points as support. And yesterday we came all the way back to this support, but we saw a beautiful bounce to the top side, and currently we are retesting this resistance on the top side. So I want to see a break above this resistance area, and if we can confirm the break, I'm going to wait for a bullish retest to test this resistance as support, and then we can aim for higher targets. And then at this bullish retest, I'm going to long the market for Bitcoin because the breakout target is the top side of the formation, and that could bring Bitcoin all the way back to the $106,000. So that is of course a very insane target for Bitcoin. So let's see what will happen. But currently we are still inside this formation, and the price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into an apex, but eventually this apex will be getting reached, and eventually we will see a huge breakout to either the top side, of course either the downside. But this falling wedge formation is a typical bullish bias pattern which tends to break to the top side more often. And another formation on the daily time frame is this falling broadening wedge with multiple touch points on the top side as resistance and also on the lower side as support. And we can also see this horizontal support was coming into play. We saw multiple touch points here, but then we fell below it because of the negative headlines. But then of course yesterday we saw a beautiful pump to the top side, so this support area is holding it for now. We see a little bit of a fake out, and that's exactly the time to be bullish because this fake out looks very bullish, and we are now back above this support area. So eventually the price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into this apex. So as I'm saying, I'm waiting for this huge breakout, and we could either see a breakout today or maybe in the rest of the week or maybe in the next week. But in the coming 7 days I think we will see a huge breakout for Bitcoin. And we had a lot of very interesting news coming into the market, and that was that yeah, we saw President Trump is saying to China wants to make a deal, and they're in the process of figuring it out. So this, of course, is very bullish for Bitcoin and also the stock market. And yesterday we saw an 5.5 trillion of dollars added to the U.S. stock market in one day. So this was the second best day for the S&P 500 and also for the Nasdaq. And we also see that President Trump is offering to talk to meet with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, and of course, if they are going to negotiate and make a deal, this will be very bullish for the market. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting news coming in, and we also see that the European Union is going to seek to purchase more gas from the US, citing Trump's tariff pressure, and all of the world leaders are wanting to make deals with Trump because eventually I think the plan of Trump is working very well. And let me know in the comments, what do you think of the Trump tariffs, and do you think it's a bullish thing or a bearish thing for the markets? Another interesting Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame is this bullish divergence, which I've been talking about in my videos of last week. In my latest videos, we can see lower lows on the price chart, but we can also see higher lows on the RSI chart, which indicated a bullish divergence. And we can now see that this bullish divergence is working out very well, because we can see a spike to the top side. We see a spike in the RSI and also a spike in the price chart. So you could have been warned about this bullish divergence, and of course it was because we saw a huge spike to the top side because of the headline of the Trump tariff pause. So yeah, but of course this bullish divergence was a very good indicator that we saw the selling pressure cooling off and that the buying pressure could maybe be yeah, starting. So for now this bullish divergence is playing out, and don't tell me I didn't warn you. So the first altcoin I want to have a look at is Ethereum. We can see that Ethereum is in this huge downtrend, and we came all the way from this yeah, previous high and this regional high about the $4,000, but currently we are at the $1,500. So this is a very bearish chart for Ethereum, of course, and let's see if we can eventually see a little bit of a reversal coming into play. But for now the trend is down, so yeah, the trend is your friend until it ends, and until we are making a new higher high, we are still in this downtrend. So we want to see that Ethereum is going to create a new higher high after this last high, and then of course a higher low, and so on and so on, and then we can see a reversal of the trend for Ethereum. And if we then have a look at a quick look at the Ethereum ETF flow, we can see that yesterday was a bit of a negative day. We saw an 11.2 million of outflows, and this was because BlackRock and Fidelity were selling their Ethereum portion. So let's see if the rest of the week can be a little bit more bullish for the Ethereum ETF flow. And another very interesting chart is this falling channel formation. We can see multiple touch points here on the top side as resistance and also on the lower side as support. And yeah, eventually this parallel channel is a very bullish bias pattern because it tends to break to the top side more often. And we can also see this also another very interesting resistance area coming into play. And eventually the price of Ethereum is getting squeezed into an apex, and I think we will finally see a break to the top side, and then we are going to see the trend shift from the downtrend into an uptrend, and that of course will be very bullish. So buying at these lower regions of Ethereum is a very interesting thing to do, because that is exactly what I'm doing. And if we have a look at the history, we can see that this block of liquidity is very interesting to look at, because yeah, this is acting as support. So I am buying more right here, and let me know in the comments, do you still buy more Ethereum, and are you still bullish on Ethereum in 2025? And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Chainlink. We can also see Chainlink is in this side of this huge parallel falling channel to the downside. We created this regional high around the $30, but currently we are just above the $12. So for now we are inside of this formation, and this is also a typical bullish reversal pattern, because we came from these bear market lows. Now we are seeing a huge price consolidation. So let's see if Chainlink can maybe see also the shift from a downtrend into an uptrend, just like Ethereum. And if we have a look at another formation, we can see this huge support level was broken to the downside for Chainlink. Then we created this huge parallel channel to the downside. But of course, as I'm saying, we could also maybe see a little bit of a reversal coming soon for a Chainlink, because this pattern is a typical bullish bias reversal pattern, because we're seeing this huge consolidation to the downside, and eventually we want to create a new higher high after this high has been made, and from there we can maybe create a higher low, and so on and so on. So for Chainlink, this is looking a little bit more bearish, but eventually we are going to see a reversal, I think. And I think Chainlink still has the capability to reach the $100 in this bull cycle. And let me know in the comments, what is your price prediction for Chainlink in 2025? And do you think the Chainlink can still see a little bit more bullish price action. So again, please like the video if you think it was useful. Don't forget to follow me on my YouTube channel, and if in the links in the description you can find the link to my free Telegram group, also to my Twitter channel, and I hope you can follow me there as well. So with that being said, I hope you have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.